You know, if you've ever thought that maybe you was just a little too hard on the Democrats, or maybe I'm too hard on them, maybe they do love America and the American people, then I guess we didn't watch the same State of the Union. Now, of course, we're all used to seeing them, I want to call it stage, stupid stunts, just to try to make themselves look good grandstanding for lobbyists or for the far left radicals. Al Green getting tossed out for the second time in a row. Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. And you knew Ilhan Omar was going to act like a dumbass, especially whenever he got talking about Somali fraud. But the part that really bugged me was whenever Trump asked the entire gallery to stand if they believe that the job of the American politician per se is to put American citizens first and not illegals. Only one side stood, so they had to own it. Literally had to own that. But the other part that really bothered me was the part whenever they had the little girl that was struck by the illegal driving a commercial vehicle, and she had made a recovery. They didn't stand and clap for her neither. But I reckon they have to own that because it's their fault. An illegal was able to illegally obtain a commercial driver's license and drive that truck that struck that little girl. It's actually pretty disgusting whenever you look at it and see the display of their hatred. That's why I call them hate America Democrats. And I don't really think they deserve a whole crap ton of time being put on to them because they're stupid. And the people without a brain are going to continue to vote for them. It's just like they always have an answer, but most of them's been in politics for a long, long time, and they haven't fixed any of the problems. And if you can't see that they don't know how to fix the problems, they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, but they don't want a different result. See, they're not real happy about the insider trading thing either. You notice most of them, if you was watching it, put their heads down. Well, because they're guilty of insider trading, and Trump's putting a bill forward, or asking them to put a bill forward to end that. I think it's phenomenal. But he also introduced the Save America Act. They didn't like the idea of voter ID. They never have. And then, hopefully a lot of the people on the left agree with the Democrats, see that they want to cheat. They have been cheating. They've always cheated. And that they are disgusting people with only lobbyists and special interests in mind and lining their own pockets. Hopefully they see that. Like I think I've given too much time to them already. They're hate America trash is all they are. They're just hate America trash. They're disgusting human beings. To not stand for that little girl and not stand and say that your constituents should be, I guess most of them's constituents are illegal, so why would they stand for the American people? They agree with kneeling for the flag. That's just who they are. That's all they're going to be. They're just trash. But, in other news, I guess things are really starting to heat up with Iran. They've been heating up with Iran. I think it's going to go to war. I guess I was wrong on my prediction of Wednesday. I'd actually recorded a video yesterday, but somewhere between this and that, it actually got part of it messed up or whatever, and I couldn't get it to upload, so I just figured I'd redo it today. And I had projects going on in the basement, so I went ahead and did those and figured I'd catch up with everybody on a beautiful Thursday. But the Iran thing's I think it's really warming up. I think there's going to be a strike. I think it's going to be a limited war using mostly targeted strikes to bring them to their knees. And we always make a deal with them, and I don't know if we can ever strike a good deal with them. I've been kind of on the fence about it. I don't want to see a war. I don't want to see collateral damage. I don't want to see a lot of things. I do worry about the idea of having a sleeper cell here in the United States and that being a retaliation. I also worry about, well, what's Qatar going to do? What's Turkey going to do? What's Israel going to do? Like, are those going to be main hit places, or are they going to jump in and help us? Are we going to have to put boots on the ground, or are all these people that we've been funding and giving military weapons to, are they going to, have our back during this whole thing? And that's what I keep asking, what's it going to look like? Something really bothers me, considering that they've been buying or are close to finalizing a deal with China for subsonic or supersonic, however they word it, missiles that can they can avoid ships' missile defense systems. They basically can skip water, and they traveled about 3.5 Machs, which is pretty fucking quick. They're getting pretty dangerous weaponry to strike at our ships off the coast, but we also moved the USS Gerald Ford in place, which, it's a pretty impressive boat. I think it's the largest nuclear class aircraft carrier. So that is a pretty big deal. I think, is that a show of force, or is that a show we're going to do something? I mean, we've been building up pretty big against them. In a way, I agree with it, because no matter what deal we make, they always say, okay, yep, we're making a deal. Then they go right back to being underground, right back to doing their enriching uranium, building nuclear weapons. We have no idea what they have, to be honest. So, and the other day I said, I'd hit their infrastructure, and I would hit this place and that place. And I'm still going to stand on that. I still say, today's Thursday. They were supposed to reach a deal. I don't know if they're going to reach a deal. And if they do, is Iran even going to stick with it? They never do. That's why we're in this position. Is Trump going to do something today? Lord only knows. It's early. But if he does, it'll just be a day later than what I thought. I figured he'd do it before, the negotiations. So that way when they come to the table, they had something fresh in their mind. I was wrong. So, I mean, if we are going to hit them, I'd say today or tomorrow. I don't know. Trump's good at this, keeping his cards close to his chest. So they say there's leaked meetings. We're going to hit them. I don't know if there's any validity behind that. Don't figure there is. Could be, but I don't figure. Like I said, I don't know how this will all play out, but I do know, there's embargoes in place. Iran's a terrorist nation. They're always going to try to exert power over the world. They're going to try to exert power. They're going to try to take power by any means. I don't think any deal we make with them they'll follow. They never have, and I already said that. So I don't think Trump really has too many more options. We're basically just going to have to punch them, and punch them hard. Put them in their place, and let the chips land where they may, I guess. Because, I mean, it could escalate. It could bring China, it could bring Russia in. And that's why I wonder what Qatar and what Turkey and what Israel would do. We've been giving these guys weapons. I'd hope they would, if we needed the help putting them in their place, be there. Not that I think we would need help with Iran. I mean, I'd say we could take Iran out pretty quick, but we also thought the same thing about Afghanistan and the Taliban. I mean, Trump took out ISIS quick, but I mean, that's one head, really, The other, Iran's chant to death to America. I mean, that is the death to America crowd, and that's where a lot of terrorism comes from. It is a terrorist bed. It is a bad place. So I think if Trump decides to strike them, it's probably because he realizes there's not going to be really any deal made that they're going to follow. They're just going to go right back to doing what they always do. Breeding terrorists, spreading terrorism around the world, and trying to bully up on anyone they can. So maybe the best thing to do is strike them, and I mean strike them hard, and make them comply with the embargoes, make them comply with no nukes. Because if they can get hypersonic missiles, how long before they have an ICBM and it's got a nuclear warhead on the end of it and it's pointed at the U.S.? Because if they could hit us, they would. That's where I figure they would go. If they had that technology, they'd hit us with that. They would. They wouldn't mess around. They'd fire it at us. Mark my words, they get them hypersonic missiles or supersonic missiles, whatever they want to call them. They'll fire them at our boats, and then what's the reaction going to be? It's going to get very uncalculated very fast, if I had to guess. But something else I read, Ron DeSantis said that charging someone taxes on a house they've lived in, that's not home ownership. It's basically theft. It's basically telling them they don't own the land. And, I got to agree with his sentiment there. I don't know how it is in a lot of states, but here in West Virginia, once you buy your house, every year you have to pay property taxes on your house. Even though you paid taxes on it when you bought it, and you paid the taxes on its value, you have to continue. And like if the county commissioner, or not county commissioner, but if the county comes up the road in their little white vehicle, of course, where I live, it would be Hampshire County. So if you see a little Hampshire County, they got a little logo on their car. See this stupid little logo on the side of their car? It's got our county's shape on the side, and it says tax assessor. But you see them drive up by, they don't get out and walk around. They just look from, and what if you put a new window in, or what if you put a new door on, or whatever? You put up a building bigger than 10 by 20. Guess what? They just raised your property tax rates. So you go out here trying to make your house nicer, they're going to tax you for it, which is stupid. Like, okay, he's making his place nicer. Let's send him. And then they send you a bill in the mail that says, you owe this much on your property taxes now. And if you don't pay your property taxes, we'll basically try to take claim of your land and put it in the newspaper and auction it off for the taxes. Whoever pays the taxes can now possess your land. That's kind of messed up, and it's stupid. I've always thought taxation is theft. You're literally taxed as soon as you get paid. Uncle Sam takes his chunk, then you go out here and you buy stuff that has sales tax on it. Like, you are taxed to no freaking end, which a lot of people know that. And one day maybe I'll break down all the taxes and what I think they are stupid. But back to that house thing, like to be taxed on something that you paid the property taxes and its value at the time, and to think that every year you have to pay that tax or they'll try to come and take your land, that's kind of stupid. I get into this rant with people all the time because it's like, okay, I paid the taxes on it. Why should I have to keep paying you every single year just to continue to own it? I own my land. I bought my land. I paid the taxes on the land, on the property value when I bought it. Just because I improve it doesn't mean I owe you money. That just means that I'm a proud homeowner. I don't need to pay you because I renovated and put a nicer window in, or put a nicer door on, or I put an extra addition on my home, or I put a nice outbuilding outside. That's none of your concern what I do with it. It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. It's the same way in West Virginia, though, with your vehicles. When you buy your vehicle, you pay taxes on it, whether it's financed or whatever, you pay taxes. They give you a license plate. But every year or every 2 years, depending on how you pay your taxes, in order to keep your license plates legal, you have to pay tax on what that car book values. So I got to pay the book value tax on it every year just to keep a legal set of tags on it. I think once I get those tags, they're mine. The car's legal. It's mine. I shouldn't have to pay you anymore. I've already paid the book value on it for the time that I bought it. Why do I got to pay you book value taxes on it every single year to keep, a legal registration on it? I should know you shit. I paid the taxes on it once when I bought it. You got your cut of that money. Stop gouging me. It is theft. It's actually pretty ridiculous if you think about it. Just like with the house, I bought it. I paid the taxes on the value of the property when I bought it. I shouldn't owe you anything else. That's what it was. You made your money, move on. Just because you want to hire 600 dummies to work in a damn office, that's not my problem. It doesn't make sense. Ron DeSantis made a heck of a good point. One heck of a good point. I'll have to look that up and get into it a little bit more, but he was talking about how basically you just keep raping them over and over and over again, and it is. When you're a homeowner or you own a vehicle, you're raped over and over and over again every year, every 2 years. Because like our Harley, my wife just the other day paid 2 years worth of registration to keep the tags legal on the Harley for 2 years. And it's like, this is ridiculous. I had to pay taxes on it twice. Now, this is stupid. Twice whenever I bought it, because I bought it in a different state. I paid the sales tax in that state. Then when I brought it to West Virginia, when my temporary tags from that other state ran out and I needed West Virginia tags on it, to send my title off, to get a West Virginia title and a West Virginia set of tags, I had to run over to a notary or to a title place, take my bill of sale. I had to pay tax on the value of the bike, pay to have my title switched, and pay for a new set of temporaries while I waited on my new hard plate to come from West Virginia. And they didn't give me just, what I paid for the Harley. It was, it don't matter what you paid for it. It's what it book values for in West Virginia. And the funny thing of it is that like you could go out here and buy a 2015 whatever. Well, if your bill of sale that you take to a title shop isn't at least half the book value, West Virginia the DMV will reject your title and send it back and say you didn't pay enough for it. Yeah, man, and then you got to pay the taxes on the full book value to get your tags for it and your title done. It's just stupid. I mean, they really rape you with it, and it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. You buy your piece of property, it's tax assessed at what its value is. The tax assessor drives around every year, drives past your house to see if you've made any improvements, how many dogs you have, how many vehicles are sitting in your driveway, all that. So you do anything to the face of your house that they can see, and they're going to up it. It's like, man, he's really doing something. He's got some money. Let's add, $300 to his tax bill this year. It's stupid, and that's exactly what they do. If you don't pay your taxes, they'll publish your property, your home, in the newspaper and auction it off to whoever will pay the taxes on it. Then you either got to pay them or they get your property after like a year and a day or something like that. Yeah, they take over ownership of it. They just bought your property for taxes. It's theft. It's 100% theft. And I hope like Patrick Morrissey would see this, that DeSantis said, and take it to the governor or like to our legislative and say, hey, look, man, we ought to stop this property tax thing. This personal property tax thing, it's wrong on the people. It's punishing you for being a homeowner. It's punishing you for owning a vehicle, for being accomplished, for having things, for acquiring things. It's ridiculous. I mean, people don't understand it. I mean, because I don't know how other states work. I'm going to guess it's pretty well the same. It's ridiculous to be punished for being a homeowner. They made their money when you first bought it. They shouldn't get no more after that. Done. Paid our taxes. Leave us alone. You know, you paid the taxes on your property when you bought it. You paid taxes on your car when you bought it. You paid taxes on whatever you had when you bought it. You paid the sales tax, taxes on its value right there if you had to get license plates on it or anything. Or do a deed switch or a title switch. You paid those taxes. It's done. They made their money. It's enough. To keep coming back, and if you don't pay your property taxes and your personal property taxes, you can't get license plates for your vehicles. All that. They just shut it down. Your tags are dead, and then you'll get a $157 improper registration fine if they see you running around with dead tags. Or, like I said, worst case scenario, you don't pay your property taxes on your house and your land. They'll publish it in the newspaper, auction it off for the taxes. Someone will literally buy like $100,000 piece of land for just the taxes because somebody was forgot, complacent, didn't pay the taxes. Happens all the time. I think that's about all I got for today. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to support my channel, I'll leave a link in the description. Or you can slide over to my sponsor, Dubby, and use coupon code Matt's Opinion to save 10%. And they'll support me for you supporting them. For Matt's Opinion, I'm out.